Well, hello there. I'm sorry I can't be with you live today, but this is the next best thing. So here it is, The History of WEMTA by me, Sandra Heiden, past president. I'm beginning this presentation by mentioning the past presidents. I'm not sure how many of you know that the past presidents meet each year at the conference, and this year I think we had 9 of us together, which was the most that I've can ever remember. And the past presidents meet and we discuss concerns, and they give us advice, and we share information with them, and that's where our history really comes from, is the people that have been in the leadership in the past, guiding those people who are in the leadership for the forward, or for the future, I should say. And I just also wanted to put on here that, WEMTA, on our website, it says we're an independent professional association serving school library media and instructional technology. So here it is, the beginnings. We were at one time Wisconsin Division of Audio Visual Instruction, begun in March 1948 in Madison with 52 members, dollar dues, and film was just beginning to be brought into schools with projectors, those big old reel-to-reel, and there was a survey that was initiated and across the state for the need for audiovisual certification in Wisconsin, and a course for all education students was begun at that time, I guess so that librarians could figure out how to, weave that roll of film through the projectors. By 1961, the DPI added a position called State Supervisor of Audiovisual Instruction. 1965, DAVI, which is the national conference, was held in Milwaukee, and the title of the conference was the Media Specialist and Educational Change. I think we could still say that today. 1969, the national organization and AASL developed together a joint set of standards that were published for us to follow. In 1970, under President John Batram, WDAVI voted 88-2 to become WAVA and affiliate with the national organization AECT. 1973, we celebrated the 25th anniversary of our association, and film strips were big, and cable TV in the classroom was just beginning. Back in 1977, after several years of having a joint conference with the WLA, which is the Wisconsin Library Association, the WAVA Board of Directors determined that a merger or affiliation between WAVA and WLA would not be productive. I'm sure there's some emotions tied with that, and some people do remember this time, but WLA is still a group that we have enough affiliation with, and we always have a liaison between our board and that board of WLA. In September of 1979, the Dispatch, which was the print newsletter that we had for very many years, there was an article in there that made the first reference to computers in the LMC. In October of that year, the DPI held a conference called Emerging Technologies, and there were several WAVA members that were asked to serve on various DPI committees. So here we are, 1981. WAVA votes to become WEMA. They begin with having awards for administrators that support library media programs. The DPI creates the Division for School Library Media Specialists. DPI also renames the AV Division to the Bureau of Instructional Media and Technology. That year, the WEMA Fall Conference title was Microcomputers, Your Needs, Their Potential. In 1982, WEMA is officially incorporated. The dues were up to $15 per person at that time. 376 people attended the conference, and we really started forging partnerships with other associations, and there were lots of joint conferences held between neighboring states and here in Wisconsin, between different groups. Moving forward in 1987, Carolyn Kane was WEMA's president-elect, and she was the first female leader. She was one of 4 persons also asked to be on the writing team that created Information Power, which was the standard in many of our library media programs. She also helped with the AASL and AECT's new national standards. The WEMA board began communicating via email through Learning Link. In 1988, the fifth decade of our association began with 750 members. We started focusing on a strategic plan, mission statement, goals, yearly action plans, an intellectual freedom focus, and lobbying for more library funding. In 1995, the spring conference in Madison had 1,000 attendees, and the board retreat, thanks to Helen Adams, is instituted. In 1995, we also instituted free student memberships for any people that were in library media programs at the time. In 1998, WEMA's membership peaked at 1,200 members. WEMA was invited at the time to the Library Visioning Summit that was sponsored by Coland and the DPI, and in 2002, we finally decided that the volunteers just couldn't handle the workload anymore. An association manager was hired through CISA 3, and that was Courtney Rounds. Partnerships and affiliations have always been extremely important to our organization, and in 2004 we decided to have a partnership with Adobe for discount pricing through all of the school districts, for all of the school districts in the state. 2005, AASL began their At Your Library advocacy campaign, and the WEMA or We Matter toolkit began. In 2005, WEMA and Brainstorm combined conference to enhance our relationship with all those people that were more an ed tech focus versus a library focus. In 2006, the move from WEMA to WEMTA truly began. We hired a person to help with the restructuring, and we went through bylaws, policies, and procedures. A new website was begun. A new logo was created. We have staggered board terms now and representatives from library, media, technology, and higher education. There's annual elections now. Many things happened during this restructuring period. So by the end of 2008, we were WEMTA, adding that T for technology. WEMTA at this time was also branching out at the national level with advocacy efforts through ISTE and ALA by having attendees at the ETAN workshop or I should say the ABCs of Advocacy workshop and the ALA legislative days in Washington, D.C. I just want to finish up with WEMTA today, where we are today, a volunteer organization with a rolling membership of 800, anyone from library media specialists, ed tech people, teachers, administrators, tech coaches, lots of different people attend the WEMTA conference each year. We only have 2 paid positions. We still have an association manager, and that's the firm of Bob and Lee Jordan, the COW firm. And we have our legislative advocate, which is Michael Blumenfeld and Associates. So that's all I have to say on the history, and I am sad that I'm not there with you today, but I hope you enjoyed my version of the history of WEMTA.